So you're doing some research here.
Yeah, so Cam the intern
Got his own podcast.
got his own
saying?
podcast, but it looks good.
Looks good. Logos, good
Maybe
graphics.
it sounds good too.
Oh, Cam, hardworking kid.
Cam?
Yeah.
Every day that kid's stock goes up a little
Does
bit.
it?
A little bit.
Ryan, her three on the way. It's good off the backboard and in. Murray, what a take by Tucker. Jones, another steal. Spin on Caldwell, and the layup's good.
I would like to see you hold a mirror up to yourself and interview yourself. As good as this was, it could only be better if it was all you.
Tuning in, I was a fan. I was like, man, let's do it.
Cam, thanks so much for having me on. I'm happy to be here.
Joined today for the first time, Cam Isimone. Gallagher's going to have to shoot it from beyond the arc. And it's good! Jacobs for three. He got it! My goodness, what a shooting performance by Jacobs.
I think Cam's Corner is great.
Tune in to Cam's Corner.
This kid's going to make it. He's going to make it here.
Corner great!
All right, we are back, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Cam's Corner. Today, joining me as well as myself, a Johnston High School alum here in Rhode Island, former four-year catcher at Wheaton College as well, and now a member of the St. Louis Cardinals AAA roster, the Memphis Redbirds, Nick Raposo. Nick, thanks for taking the time to join me, man.
Absolutely, Cam. Glad to be on.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, we'll get into, where you're at now and all the ups and downs throughout your career. But as far as the game of baseball, where is that passion spark from for you from an early age?
Yeah, I mean, I always played baseball. Like I said, I've always enjoyed it. It's just one of those things where I've just always played. I just played so many games growing up, and I never thought like my career would be at the point where it's at right now. But I just always loved baseball. Honestly, the most I love about it is just being around teammates and meeting so many different people and having friends that I still talk to this day. Like when I was, 16 years old, it's just stuff like that. And kind of just, I've always played, I've always loved the game, and I just always loved getting better at it. And it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. And being, playing, like you said, playing since at a young age, like how did you kind of gravitate towards becoming a catcher? Because obviously now that's the position you play in now. So how did you become, how'd you gravitate towards that?
I don't really I think I got stuck catching, and then from there I always caught. Looking back, I would probably choose any other position, but no, I always joke that if I didn't catch, I probably wouldn't be playing baseball. As a catcher, you're in every pitch, and you're so involved with the game, and I kind of got a short attention span sometimes, so it keeps me locked in, and I just always loved catching. And like I said, if I wasn't catching, I don't know if I'd still be playing baseball, honestly.
Did you play any other positions at all throughout young stages? Or?
Yeah. I've always caught. And then in high school, I played third base one year. I think it was my sophomore year. I played a little third base, and but that was really it. Other than that, I just caught kind of my whole career.
Yeah, and attending Johnson. Yeah, you said.
No, it was cool. I just, like I said, catching's, you're involved in everything. You always communicate with the pitcher, always talking. So catching was always where I've kind of been at, and where I'm still at today.
Yeah, and attending Johnson High School, like myself, like I said, for you graduating in 2017, that's when I was a freshman, and then ultimately committing to Wheaton. Second team All Division junior year, first team All Division senior year. Like, what was the hype around your name heading into the college scene, and like, what were the schools like looking at you at that time?
Yeah, I really didn't. To be quite honest, I really didn't have that many schools looking at me. It was Wheaton and then one other school, and my two former teammates, Joe Bongiovanni and Ryan McKeon, they're from Johnston as well. They were at Wheaton, so I always knew about Wheaton through them. And the head coach reached out, and it was just a good fit. I was looking for a small school with good education, and they had both. And I knew like the baseball program was really good from Ryan and Joe. So it was cool to have like two former teammates in high school, and then play with them for 3 years in college, I believe. And I'm still friends with both of them now, which is kind of cool. So that was kind of the path to get to Wheaton.
Yeah, and we'll get into that career as well. But, to see where you're at now, like I said, despite the amazing career you had at Wheaton, do you feel like you had something to prove in a sense and, feel as though you were better than a Division III athlete?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say like that was never like my motivation, but I just took whatever opportunity I had and really just try to like work hard and, play hard and just work at it. I always loved just kind of getting better. And, yeah, I mean, for sure. There was definitely points where in high school, like, a couple of my buddies went D1. A lot of guys I played summer ball with were going D1. And it was kind of like, it was cool to see them do that. And I guess in that moment, I was like, oh, man, like maybe there was some points I was like, I wish I could have gone D1, this and that. But like looking back, I have no regrets at all. And I'm so grateful for, choosing to go to Wheaton and everything that's led up to it. So, But for sure, the whole D1 thing, a lot of my buddies did, and some of my buddies are still successful and they're in pro baseball too. So it's just kind of cool to see the two paths kind of, whether I went D3 and a couple of my buddies went D1, it kind of all works out in the same path. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you talk about motivation too. Like, what's your why at the end of the day? What kind of motivated you throughout high school to kind of get to that next level?
Yeah, I feel like I've always played just like I've played hard, I worked hard, and I've just seen like my family work so hard growing up, like, whether it's working jobs, waking up early, like making sacrifices for me. I feel like that was always like my deep down motivations, my grandparents, just trying to, make everyone proud around me. And that's kind of still my motivation to this day, just trying to make everyone who supported me and, pushed things out of their lives to, make it happen for me, just to kind of make them proud and just carry it on.
Yeah, and after graduating and, like you said, committing to Wheaton, what was your first year like there and adjusting to the system, adjusting to the pace of the game, and what kind of differences did you see too?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first year at Wheaton, there was a senior catcher ahead of me, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to catch too much. I didn't even know if I was really going to play. So I just kind of, learned the system, worked at it. I ended up getting a couple designated hitting starts early in my career at Wheaton. And then I started catching like a couple times a week towards the later end of the year, which is kind of cool. And then one of my buddies, Trevor Marks, who's one of my best friends to this day, he's from Lincoln, and every time he pitched, I ended up catching. We were both freshmen at the time. So that was pretty cool connection. So it was that's how I kind of got my start my freshman year playing, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like what was the success like for you guys as well? Being there for 4 years, just kind of like describe like outside of like personal accolades, like what those seasons were like.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first year, we ended up going to the College World Series, which was really cool. And then the next 3 years were, I'm trying to think. The next 2 years were sort of tough. I think we ended up losing in the conference championship 2 years. And then my senior year, it was COVID. That was 2020. So I got cut short. And that was kind of disappointing because we just felt like we had a really good team my senior year, and we were off to a good start. And but that, season got banged like everything else. But yeah, that was like my freshman year. We went to the World Series. That was a really cool experience. I didn't really know what to expect, and it was fun. It was just kind of the thing I loved about college and Wheaton. It was just like all the guys just playing for each other, playing hard, and that was like, that's looking back, that was kind of the bread and butter of it all, just playing for each other and playing hard. It was fun.
Yeah, and a lot of reports that I've seen, like a lot of coaches talk about like your leadership. So kind of talk about more so chemistry as well, because like you said, you were a freshman, you're playing under a senior, but again, like that freshman year was like one of your favorites because you guys made it so far. Right. So kind of just talk about that aspect.
Yeah, 100%. Well. It was Wheaton's one of those places where the baseball chemistry is really good, like I said, and like the seniors, they take in the freshmen like they're part of the team. It's not really divided, and that was really special to me. And the senior catcher was always good to me. He helped me out along the way. We always worked together, and he was, like I said, he was always really good to me, and along with the other seniors. So the chemistry is always good, and it's just like it all starts with our head coach there, Eric Podbelski. He's been doing it a very long time. He started the program, and he's the best in the business, to be honest. The way he just holds the team accountable, just the respect we have for each other and the program, and it's just like that's where it all starts with him, and that's kind of where the seniors, it's always the seniors who kind of run it. So just kind of pass it down to the next group, and it's been just an evolving door ever since. Yeah.
Do you have any coaches like personally for you that have kind of followed you throughout this journey that have kind of, mentored you in a way too?
Yeah, absolutely. Aegis Layasu, he runs a program called L&M. I played with him throughout high school. He's kind of played a big part of it. He's always pushing for me. And then when I got to college, definitely Eric Podbelski, the head coach at Wheaton, man, he's one of my favorite people ever. And he's just like, when someone says like, he's a great, like someone says, oh man, that guy's such a great guy. He's like the definition of a great guy. Just, wants the best for you, will do anything in his power to help you. And it's not about him. It's about everyone around him and the baseball program there at Wheaton. And man, he's really made a really positive impact on my life for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to like we said about like the success of your team, more so now for you, throughout the years, throughout your tenure at Wheaton, 2-time Wheaton Male Athlete of the Year winner and the 9th player in Wheaton history to sign an MLB contract. So, for yourself, like what does that mean to you at the end of the day, looking back as you're at your college career as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I never throughout college, I never thought that I would get to play professional baseball at any point, really. There was a little glimpse like after my sophomore year of like, everyone talks, but I didn't, deep down it was definitely a long shot. So yeah, a couple good years at Wheaton, and then summer ball was kind of where I had a lot of fun too and grew a lot as a player. That was 2 summers played on Martha's Vineyard. So those are kind of like two years of growing and developing, and yeah. So I guess, like I said, when I look back, I didn't envision this happening really playing pro ball at all. Just kind of about getting better and just trying to get better for the team. Try to win as many games as possible.
Yeah, and you talked about like the summer ball seasons, like after like the regular seasons, things like that. What do you feel like kind of kickstarted your career and kind of helped you get the best, I guess, exposure to like get on this on the roster you're at now?
Yeah. Yeah. So after my sophomore year, I ended up going to Martha's Vineyard, like I said, and played in for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks, which was at the time the Futures Collegiate Baseball League. And it's like it's just a good league with a lot of good D1 players, D1 pitching, a mix of D2 and D3 guys, but mostly D1. So that was my first summer ball experience there. After a glimpse after my freshman year with the Newport Gulls, but mainly with the Martha's Vineyard Sharks for 2 summers, which was really awesome. Like I said, it was just good competition day in and day out. Just trying to get better and try to like win a job there. There's a couple other catchers, and I was just trying to find my way into the lineup and try to get in the lineup as much as I could just to get reps for to get better for next year, and made a lot of good friends along the way. And that was kind of the start of that, which, like I said, a lot of D1 talent, so there was always like more scouts around and stuff like that. And then the next summer after my junior year, the Sharks went to a new league. It was called the NECBL, which is with the Newport Gulls, Ocean State Waves, and Rhode Island. So they entered that league, and that was a lot better competition. There's a lot of like SEC guys, ACC guys. So that was like a big kind of spot where I think there was a lot more exposure. And I had a pretty good summer there. And so I guess that's kind of what the exposure part where that led to.
Right. And we talked about the COVID year a little bit, your senior year. That year, the MLB draft was cut down to 5 rounds, and you were on pace for another tremendous season at Wheaton, batting .406, along with a homer, 10 RBIs. Like, you were on pace again to have another great season like you've been having over at Wheaton. But what was that signing process kind of like for you, and how did you get on St. Louis's radar to kind of get that MLB roster spot?
Yeah, it's funny. So I talked to a couple scouts from a couple different teams, but I never talked to the Cardinals. And my college coach said, I reached out to a couple like people I know. If you hear anything, let me know. And I didn't really hear too much. So after I'll bring it back. So after the COVID season, I didn't know like what I was going to really do. I was like, and my parents are like, if you want to play another year, go back and play one more year, kind of, you got the rest of your life to work type of thing. So I was going to go back to Wheaton for one more year and just play one more season. And then I was sitting on my couch. I think it was like, I want to say mid-June, I think, late June. And I got a call from a Buffalo, New York number. And I was like, oh man, I almost didn't pick up the phone. I was like, all right, I'll pick up the phone. And I was like, hello. And it was a scout from the Cardinals, long story short. And he was asking if I would sign as a free agent. And it was like, I was done playing baseball for a while, and I was kind of like thrown off, and I was like, I don't really know if I would. So that's what I said to him. I don't know why I would ever say that, but so I get off the phone, and I tell my college coach. He's like, why would you tell him that? You better call him back and tell him he would. So I called him right back immediately, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'd sign as a free agent if there was an opportunity there. And then he's like, all right, thanks for the call back, and then he ended up calling me a couple months later, or a couple weeks later, and talked again. And then by the time it came as like the signing time, nothing was like definite. He called me in the morning. It was kind of like up in the air. And he ended up calling me at like I was going to bed. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And he called me with an offer, and I was like, absolutely. I was ecstatic. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, like you said, you're kind of like late night when you got that last call. But once everything kind of came to fruition, signing day comes. Like, what's going through your head after all the things you accomplished?
I don't really like. I was just kind of not like shocked, but I was just so grateful, honestly. Like, I was just so happy that like I was at my mom's that day, and we got to celebrate with everyone there, and then call my grandparents, and then call my girlfriend, call my dad. And it was just like, when that happened, I was just like, it was just like telling everyone the news around me was just like that's what made it for me. It wasn't even like I was, yes, happy for myself, but I was just so happy to like share the news with people, and like people that have like I said, sacrificed so much for me, and that was kind of what was going through my head. And then once I kind of like, it didn't even seem real, I guess, for like a couple weeks, like maybe a couple days, and then after that, it just kind of sunk in, and I was just like, it was during COVID, so I didn't really know what to expect, like if there was going to be a season, and there ended up not being. But I just got back to work. I just started hitting again. I was catching a lot of my buddies' bullpens who were kind of in the same process. So I was just like kind of back to work and just like waiting for the next call to, I don't know if I was going to go to Florida or whatever. Nothing ended up happening that year, but I was just kind of ready for whatever would have happened in that case.
Yeah, and then once COVID kind of calmed down, like correct me if I'm wrong, you started with Springfield at the AA level, and then like kind of what was your like first taste of professional baseball, like that welcome to like the big leagues kind of moment for you?
Yeah, so it was like after my first spring training, they told me I was going to AA, which was kind of like rare for like a free agent sign like myself. So my first year, I didn't really play that much. I was playing like once a week, sometimes twice a week. And so that was kind of like, it was a grind in itself. And I never really knew what to expect, like pro ball, you're playing pretty much every day, 6 days a week. The talent level from, Division 3 to the AA was kind of like eye-opening to me at first, like, and then after a year of off, I was like, all right, like, here we go. You better, better find a way to get better quick. No, I was just like, all my preparation, I felt like throughout that year of kind of nothing going on and still working at it helped me out in a good sense. And I wasn't feeling like I was in over my head. It was just kind of like, all right, like I've worked hard to this point, just kind of go out there and, compete and do what you do. So that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, pro ball it's just very different. It's a different animal. It's a grind. You're playing every day. You're at the field for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours a day. You wake up and you do it again, but you gotta love baseball to do it. And so that was kind of, yeah, that was the first taste, was AA Springfield.
Yeah, can you think of like a memorable game, memorable moment throughout those 3 years spent with Springfield?
Yeah, I would say my first hit, I think that was in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. That was pretty cool. That was like my first professional hit. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, I remember that one. My grandpa's got that ball, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. So yeah, like you said, like I said, spent 3 years there at in Springfield. Most recently, just called up the AAAs with the Redbirds in Memphis. So again, kind of just describe those last 3 years, like the ups and downs you had throughout it, and what it was like most recently to be called up to AAA.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I spent all of 21 in Springfield, and then last year all of 22 in Springfield. And then I started there again this year, and I just got called to AAA a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's I look back the last 2 years, and it's just like, just kind of grinding every day and just trying to be the same guy every day and just show up to the ballpark with, like, it's just be grateful to put on a uniform and, be able to work hard. And in the last 2 years, honestly, like, it's just building relationship with people I've met. Some of my best friends now are people I met 2 years ago in Springfield that I still talk to every day now, and kind of, people that are like in the trenches with you every day, they're going through the same stuff you're going through. You're just trying to keep climbing a ladder every day and just trying to get better and better. And yeah, so I guess when I look back at the first 2 years of pro ball, that's what I would kind of really look at the most. It's just like finding people who have the same interests as you, and just like people you become, brothers with, and just trying to climb the ladder every day, just kind of get better and better. And yeah, so, and then from the standpoint of like the grind of it all, like looking back, it's like, there's going to be days where you fail, and that's part of baseball. But it's like in pro ball, it's like, how quick can you kind of get yourself out of it? Are you going to like let yesterday come into today and like affect how you play, or are you just going to try to take it at bat by at bat and pitch by pitch? And it's kind of where I feel like some of the best guys I've met that I've played with who are now in the big leagues, like they're just, like they don't, obviously some stuff's going to get to them, but it's just like, keep going. Can you keep going? Like even on your worst days when you don't feel too good and like, things aren't going your way, it's like, can you find a way to overcome it? Can you, just keep going? Like I said, you just got to keep grinding and just keep going as long as you can. And, at the end of the day, I think that really pays off, and it's helped a lot. That's helped me a lot too. It's just trying to keep that mindset of like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, like for sure. And like we both said, last few weeks, like this is just recently now with AAA. I mean, what have these last few weeks been like for you now at this level?
Yeah, the last few weeks they've been good. Just seeing a lot of new faces, trying to get to know the pitchers. I haven't played too much in AAA yet, but I'm just waiting for an opportunity, and whenever the opportunity comes, I'll be ready. It's cool because you see guys that you've come up with. Like, I play with a lot of guys from Springfield who are now up here. There's some guys in the big leagues and some guys who are up and down. So you kind of see guys you played with, and same thing. You're just trying to adjust and just trying to honestly try to make it feel like it's like you're just a little kid again. It's AAA, big leagues, AA. It's a job, but got to try to find a way to make it feel like it's not sometimes.
Yeah. And we talked about a little bit too at the beginning, just kind of like your overall thoughts on what it means to you to be a professional athlete. I mean, since 4 years now, leaving college almost, I mean, you look up to these guys growing up. And again, coming from a small state like us in Rhode Island, just kind of like what it means to you at the end of the day to see like where everything has brought you.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's cool, and I would definitely just say like I'm just really grateful for like every experience I've had. Like I said, I never really pictured myself to this point. It's just kind of been like each day, how can I get myself up and just kind of get better? And I guess like stacking brick by brick has kind of led me to this point. And I don't think this is the end for me, so I'm just trying to keep stacking those bricks as long as I can. And yeah, I feel like each day that I'm able to just go to the ballpark and have an opportunity to get better and just live it day by day, I kind of feel like that's where I just kind of look back the most, and just grateful for that opportunity and just grateful to be in the position that I'm at.
Yeah, and your message not only to D3 athletes, but all college athletes in general, who are trying to reach the same goals as you were. I mean, because for someone like you, I mean, you didn't go to a powerhouse school coming out of high school, going to a D3 program, but now you're at the pro level. So your kind of message to, like I said, not only D3 athletes, but just college athletes like in general.
Yeah, I would say, just keep getting better. Do everything you can to just try to get an edge on someone, and more than that, try to get an edge on yourself, try to just try to be better than you were yesterday. It doesn't always have to be like I'm going to do this and you're going to get 100 times better in one day. It's not really how it's going to happen. It's just, you can get like 1% better every day, 0.5% better every day, 0.25% better every day. It's just kind of, what can you do to just be better than you were yesterday? And if you put those days together long enough, I think that it'll turn out. And it doesn't always have to be like, I would say like, it doesn't always have to be like end game. Like my goal was to be a professional player, because that wasn't my goal, and I've had friends, I would say teammates, that I've been around and they're like, oh, my goal is to play pro. My goal is to play pro. And they kind of lost their why, like, why am I doing this? And looking back, I'm grateful that wasn't my reason. I mean, there's some guys that's their reason. I want to be a professional. It works for them. And there's probably a million big leaguers like that. But for me, it just wasn't it. And it's just like, just find your why, find why you want to keep getting better and why you want that to be your goal. And if you find your why, I feel like you kind of find your purpose of why you want to get up every day and work. Because at the end of the day, like, just kind of, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't even have to do with baseball. It could just be whatever it is in life, like, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to pursue that? And it's just, if you want to achieve anything, it just starts off with a little brick and just try to stack them on top of each other as best you can.
Yeah, and for someone like me, like I want to pursue like broadcasting and stuff like that. So I kind of tell people the same thing that want to get into that field. Like they ask me like how to get into it, this, that. I kind of tell people the same thing you said, like find a why and find a purpose for what you're doing, So I think that's pretty cool.
And yeah, it is cool. And that's why I love baseball so much, because it's like baseball is so similar to life, in my opinion, because it's just, you fail 7 out of if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're really good in baseball. So it's like, you're going to fail in life no matter what, but it's just like, can you just pick yourself up and keep going, And that's like you said, with anything. And like, you have passion for broadcasting. I think that's super cool. And, yeah, what's your why? And, you putting stuff out and finding reasons to keep going and just, and enjoying it. And that's the biggest thing. If you enjoy it and you work hard at it, I think no matter what you do in life, you'll be in a good position. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think everything too, like kind of attests to what you said. Everything's about like reps. Like everything is a rep. Yeah. Like this is a rep for me. for you every single day, like when you get up and do that, it's another rep. It's 1% better every day. So I think that's the coolest thing for me to get out of like professional athletes and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's not always going to be glamorous, and you're going to have your bad days for sure. But it's just trying to be the same guy every day and not letting something negative affect your tomorrow or anything like that. Like I said, there's going to be in baseball and in life, there'll be a week where you're struggling. There'll be 2 weeks where you're struggling. There'll be a month. It's just keep working at it and keep on the grindstone, and hopefully it'll turn over. And if you have faith that it will, and you have faith in everything that you prepare for and work hard for, I feel like that you're always in a good position. There was this one quote that I always try to remind myself of. It's like preparation eliminates fear. And I mean, and that's in baseball. I really kind of use it as, but same thing with anything else. If you're like prepared for a situation, you're ready to go versus, you're kind of like swimming in over your head. Whether it doesn't really matter about baseball. It's just kind of about life. And, if you prepare for it, you'll be all right.
Yeah, for sure. And Nick, again, like I said at the beginning, I appreciate the time you taking to come on the podcast. I've been starting to do this little speed round thing before I cap off every show. So for you, I'll start off with who's your favorite athlete growing up and why?
My favorite athlete growing up was definitely Dustin Pedroia for the Red Sox, second baseman. I just always loved the way he played the game hard. He was just always like diving for balls, playing hard. So I always appreciated that, and I feel like I always looked up to him.
Yeah, and for you, your dream stadium to play in one day.
Definitely Fenway.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been to a bunch of games, and it's definitely the dream to play in Fenway.
And so far, what has been like the coolest stadium you've played in?
Coolest stadium I've played in. I'll probably say, this ain't really a speed round. I'm kind of delaying.
No, it's all good.
I'd probably say Wichita. There's a field in Wichita, Riverfront Stadium. It's pretty new. We played there in AA. It was pretty solid.
Nice. And lastly, if you've had any interaction with a professional athlete, who was it? Describe like what that interaction was like and how you felt afterwards too.
Yeah. So during spring training this year, we were all in like a hitters meeting, and Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt were kind of talking through some things. And for me, that was just like an awe moment. Like two of the best in the whole world talking about like their approach and hitting. And it was just like kind of one of those moments where like, I'll never forget that. And it was just like, and two, like I was there, like I'm not that far away from being that next level. So I thought, that was a moment I'll never forget. And it was just super cool to hear two of the best talk about, their process and everything like that. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And again, like I said, I appreciate the time, Nick. Lastly, just to kind of cap everything off, what do you think of Cam's Corner and who might you want to see as a future guest in the future?
Oh man, no, Cam, this was awesome. I appreciate you reaching out, and I hope you just keep going with this and do awesome things. It's cool. Future guest, huh? Let's see. If you could get one of my buddies, Tom Pannone. I don't know if you know who it is. He's from Cranston. He went to Bishop Hendricken. He's a pitcher. I think he's with the Brewers right now in AAA. He spent a couple years in the big leagues with the Blue Jays, and he went overseas and pitched. Tom Pannone. He's someone I've always looked up to and a really good friend to me. So he's a good dude. Yeah,
definitely always trying to talk to these Rhode Island guys because get a lot of sometimes people don't even know where they're at or where they've started. So it's kind of cool to shine light on their careers and things like that. So we'll definitely be in touch, and definitely want to get his contact to talk to him as well. But
all right, cool.
Yeah, Nick, again, like I said, I appreciate it. I'll be in contact with you, and good luck with everything the rest of the way this season.
All right, Cam, absolutely. Good luck to you too.
Thanks, man.